So the newest Star Wars Canon Comic has just been released, and in it something major has just happened. A lady working for qi'ra and the Crimson Dawn after Darth Maul's death was sent across the galaxy to find any remnants of the Jedi Order remaining. As part of this mission, qi'ra sent her underling to find the Grand Master of the Jedi Order when it still stood, to see if he somehow survived. Shockingly, this plan actually worked and the lady found Yoda on Dagobah. But what happens next will shock you. So make sure you're subscribed to keep up to date with all of the new canon content which is shaping the Star Wars story into the future. And if you haven't seen the previous 2 issues of this comic, click the link in the pinned comment to go to the Crimson Reign playlist on my channel. So the story begins off in the present with the same holocron from the Archivist that we've seen in the previous issues. The Archivist is talking to 2 mysterious people who haven't yet been revealed to us in this comic run. We know for sure that one of them is a light side Force user, but we know nothing about the other. My money right now is probably on Luke Skywalker, maybe with Han, but we'll have to wait for the future releases to find out. Either way, the Archivist is telling the mysterious 2 who opened the holocron that nobody remains the same. Most people change with time, no matter how set in their ways they may be. And in her case, that change was rather dramatic. We then skip into the past timeline where we get to see exactly what the Archivist means. Before she became the woman in the holocron, she had a very different life. They say working with the dark side of the Force corrupts one's physical form, but for her it was much simpler. In the Archivist's old life, she worked as a Sava, another word for a highly regarded scholar or teacher. She worked at the University of Barleth, the same place where Dr. Aphra attended. During her time at the university, the Archivist chose to study a subject which nobody else would dare touch. She devoted her life to learning about the dark side of the Force. This made her immensely happy, but then Order 66 came. We then learned that the Archivist's real name was Madelin Sun, and that when Order 66 killed the Jedi, it also killed her career in studying the Force. Now she is nothing but a junk trader. The Archivist is now simply trying to get by in the galaxy after her career was destroyed by Order 66 selling her junk goods when a group of stormtroopers approaches her operation. She explains that she has nothing, but the cruel troopers decide to give her shop a good tossing to show her who's now in charge. Madelin vows to file a complaint with the Imperial Governor of the sector, but obviously that's not going to do much. As the troopers ransack and destroy the place for no good reason, one of them comes across an ancient green blade. The trooper hands it to his superior and he immediately marks it as illegal contraband under Order 66, Codicil 9. Now this is really interesting because it introduces into canon that Order 66 wasn't just a simple military order. It was a full-fledged set of directives with multiple subsections that created new rules for the galaxy. Either way, Madelin begs the trooper to let her keep the blade, insisting that she only has it for sentimental reasons. The trooper though refuses. He is about to leave with the contraband item, but out of nowhere a flurry of blaster bolts lights up her shop, and the troopers inside are killed on the spot. As Madelin turns her head, she finds a woman in red calling herself qi'ra. Qi'ra introduces herself and says that she's very familiar with Madelin's academic work, but Madelin is still in shock because qi'ra just killed 3 Imperial soldiers on her property. Nothing good can come of that. Regardless, qi'ra says that she has no fear of the Empire and instead offers Madelin a job. Qi'ra refuses to say what the job is and instead has a question for her. Why is the study of the Force now banned? Why does nobody talk about the Force publicly anymore? How did a huge group of Force users who work directly with the galactic government become nothing but a myth among the people? Madelin has been wondering the same thing herself, and she believes that it is because of the following. The Jedi Order was strong and was at the very front of citizens' minds. They had a huge temple at the heart of Coruscant and worked closely with the Republic. Holodramas or movies were made of them, and the Jedi were celebrities. Madelin doesn't see any difference between the light and the dark sides because both are essential and both have their role. But she believes that for most people who really thought about it at all, the light side represents the way they wanted to live, and the dark side was closer to how they actually were. Madelin says that in a single generation, the entire Jedi Order and the concept of wielding the Force itself largely disappeared from the mind of the galaxy. All the movies, the Jedi games, the Jedi bravery during the Clone Wars all simply vanished. How did this happen? Well, Madelin believes that the simple answer is fear. When Emperor Palpatine rose to power, he made the people afraid of the Jedi Order. He called them traitors and said that they used their mystical powers to undermine democracy and to cause the Clone Wars. The reason this worked was because as much as the people loved the Jedi, there was a hatred of them deep down. The people of the galaxy found it hard to look at people who have become their best selves because it reminds them that they have not. All the Emperor had to do now was pass a few laws, make it treasonous to be a Jedi, help a Jedi or use the Force or study it, and it would soon fade from memory. That would then leave only the ones who wouldn't fight for their beliefs behind, and the ones who would remain silent. These people would never pass their knowledge of the Jedi down to their children, and soon that knowledge would die with them. Qi'ra then agrees with this set of events and unveils something shocking to the Archivist. Qi'ra tells her that Sheev Palpatine's real identity is Darth Sidious. He is a Dark Lord of the Sith. Madelin is stunned that she didn't realize that a Sith Lord was right under her nose and berates herself for it, but Qi'ra tells her, if it's any consolation, the Jedi didn't realize either, and they were even closer to him. This leads to a hurtful realization for Madelin Sun. she realizes that she did not lose her passion, it was taken from her by force. She strongly grips the shattered blade, making her hands bleed with rage, and decides that the time has come. She will accept qi'ra's offer, whatever it is. Inside of qi'ra's ship, Madelin Sun is shocked at the vast array of Force artifacts that she has collected. A dancing goddess which was seen in Solo and the Thought Dowser from the Dr. Aphra comics catch her attention. Madelin then admits that she is lightly Force sensitive, not enough to actually use it, but enough to sense it. She senses that many of the artifacts here are imbued with the dark side. qi'ra tells her that she inherited most of this from her mysterious mentor, which we know as Darth Maul, and collected the rest herself. qi'ra finally offers to give access to all of these dark side artifacts if Madelin Sun joins her, which she finally does. Madelin Sun is now a member of Crimson Dawn. With this issue sorted, qi'ra finally reveals the job that she has for Madelin. Because the Empire never announced the death of Grandmaster Yoda to the galaxy, qi'ra believes he is still alive somewhere and wants Madelin to find him. qi'ra says that they made a great big show of the other Jedi that they killed, with many lightsabers melted down, including one of Yoda's, but they didn't say he was dead. That's a nice little fix to the Book of Boba Fett continuity change right there, with Luke having one of Yoda's lightsabers after it was burned in an earlier Darth Vader comic. This one says it was only one of them. To begin her search, Madelin looked at Yoda's last acknowledged location, the Battle of Kashyyyk, but that wasn't the location he was last seen in. In the dark night that the Republic died and the Empire was born, there were eyewitness reports of Master Yoda present on Coruscant chopping clone trooper heads off with another robed Jedi. She then deducted that because Yoda was one of the most recognizable people in the galaxy, he couldn't just take an off-world shuttle. Someone helped him. Madelin quickly realized that it was Bail Organa on his Tantive 3 who likely helped him escape. She isn't sure if Yoda was on board on the night of Padme's funeral, but scoured the records for someone who was. This leads her to the Okreska jail facility floating somewhere in space. The only reason she is let in is because the Imperial officer who runs the station is a secret supporter of Crimson Dawn and qi'ra. Saying the group's rally call, Await the Dawn, the officer then allows Madelin in to speak with a prisoner called Jeramok Colton. Colton was actually seen in Revenge of the Sith as a pilot of the Tantive 3, played by Boba Fett actor Jeremy Bulloch from the OT. Inside his cell, Madelin introduces herself and asks him if he helped Yoda escape Palpatine's Great Purge. He claims to have no idea what she's talking about, but Madelin has done her research. She knows that the Imperials captured the Tantive 4 while he was piloting it after the Battle of Scarif from Rogue One, and Darth Vader killed Captain Antilles while capturing Colton, and she also knows that he was there on the Tantive 3 on the night of the Great Purge. At this point, the captured Colton is still refusing to talk, so Madelin resorts to a more brutal tactic. She pulls out the Thought Dowser from qi'ra's den, ready to use it on the captain so that he will reveal Yoda's location. For those of you who don't know, the Thought Dowser is an extremely powerful technological device which can amplify a person's thoughts and make them incapable of holding back any knowledge that they have held deep within them. And on that note, I'm going to use the Thought Dowser on you guys, to make sure you hit that like button down below. Using the horrific device, Madelin is able to put Colton through enough trauma to make him reveal that he was on Polis Massa, the location of Luke and Leia's birth. Using the Thought Dowser again, Madelin forces him with immense pain to reveal the direction Yoda headed, the Sluis sector. With this information, the Archivist leaves the prison complex and scours the entire Sluis sector. She traverses numerous barren worlds, but eventually finds one that she has read about in a paper written during the High Republic. A world very strong in the Force and one so intense that it would mask Yoda's presence if he was there. She arrives at the Dagobah system. Madelin Sun then lands on the planet, and because she is so focused on feeling the Force and how it flowed there, she failed to recognize the actual creatures. Madelin is viciously attacked by a Dagobah swamp creature and is knocked to the ground with the Force. This, however, points her in the direction of a mysterious cave. She feels the tendrils of the Force emanating from this cave in a way that she can only describe as dark. Knowing that if she goes in, she might never come out, Madelin decides to go forward anyway. She enters the cave and encounters something that she refuses to ever speak about. That experience is for her to know alone. It helped her to understand many things about the Force and herself, but it did something horrifying. It changed her from a normal woman to a pale creature with ghastly skin and a missing pupil. After experiencing this atrocity, Madelin realizes that it was no accident. She was led there by Master Yoda himself. Yoda could have killed her to protect his location or let the planet do it for him, but instead chose to teach her. The comic doesn't really make it clear if she means he taught her a lesson by letting her enter the cave, or if she stayed there for a short time to learn from him, but we will definitely find out in the next issue. This could very well be a secret apprentice of Yoda, who he taught to let go of the dark side and embrace the light. Either way, Madelin returns to qi'ra on her ship and reports that Yoda is dead. After that experience with the dark side cave and with Yoda, she chooses to protect his location. For the first time in a very long time, he was actually happy again. And that is where this issue of Crimson Reign ends. Make sure you smash that like button below and comment what you thought of this issue. Thanks so much for watching, I'll see you in the next one.